Man, we are back. Me and Bryan Broaddus couldn't wait to come in here and talk about this game because so much happened, man. We were doing it backstage behind the scenes without y'all. Now, that wouldn't be fun.
That's no fun.
Man, Bryan Broaddus, first of all, sir, I'm sure you're doing fine today, but you all right? How you doing? You doing all right? There you go.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Bryan's all right. Man, Bryan, we were saying backstage, man, that those guys, we'll just say this here to start. They showed fight today. Bryan
yeah,
Broaddus.
they did.
They showed fight today, and the Washington football team could have done a lot to get us up out of there. I find it interesting, Bryan. Let me just tell you, you let me know if you thought this. The Washington offense is usually they're a lot more explosive and efficient, right?
They are.
And,
they really are.
And
yeah.
Early in the game, they really didn't give us much, but it's like when they needed offense, they turned it on. Like Washington really turned it on, and they were able to move the ball against us. It was just they just couldn't kick field goals, and they just didn't do it early enough.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. And I think the thing that you pointed out first was this football team on a short week, with a 5-game losing streak, could have gone to the nation's capital and they could have just laid down. Yeah. They could have laid down. Here's the Commanders, they played on a Thursday. They had some extra rest, a lot of motivation. They're still in the hunt. Yeah. They're in the hunt for trying to win the division. They needed this game. The Commanders needed this football game today. They needed it a lot more than you needed it. But Dallas, I'll tell you what, defensively the first half, I think they did a really nice job of doing some things to that. And I'm interested to see in the tape tomorrow morning, bright and early, what they did, Zimmer did coverage-wise to this Commanders offense. And, there were things that quarterback wasn't as accurate as he's been. He was healthy. It's all we heard about was how healthy he was, and hey, they're going to cut him loose. Expect today to come. We talked to Joe Davis today, in the pregame show, and he, those play-by-play guys get to talk to the head coaches and stuff, and he was adamant that they were going to, that quarterback was going to run the football today. And, he had that 16-yard run, and you were kind of thinking, oh, damn, is this going to be one of those days? But Dallas did a nice job. They got after Robinson. Unfortunately, if you're a Commander fan, probably not many Commander fans watching our show today, but when Robinson got compromised after that first carry, that was kind of, was like, okay, that's kind of a break for the Cowboys right there. That he's going to be a little bit nicked up as they're going along, but man, Butler covered well. They rotated guys throughout the defense. They did what they had to do. I mean, for one half, they were really, really, really good. And then all of a sudden that fourth period started, and it was just like, what the hell? Like you said, they were up and down the field, and you're kind of like, wow, where's this been? They flipped that switch. Where's this been for the Commanders? Because they had Dallas clearly on their heels and made it a football game. But I'll tell you what, man, I can't wait to see that 87-yard pass. Yeah. I have a feeling I know what happened. Mm-hmm. Dallas was defending the sidelines, and I guarantee you the middle of the field was open and the seams were open. Yeah. And what happened was it turned into, when the catch was made and he takes off running, everybody's having to come from the sidelines to try and make this tackle. And Terry McLaurin was on its way. And I probably guessed that the safeties weren't in very good position to make a tackle. And it's one of those things where you're probably sitting there hoping, you're going, God, somebody's got to make this tackle. Somebody just tackle him. Somebody tackle him. The game's over. Just tackle him. And they couldn't get anybody to him. God, if they would have lost the game because of that, holy jeez. Yeah. But they tried. Field goal kicker helped you there. He helped you by missing field goals and missing extra points. And, here you are with, you get a victory.
Bryan, I feel like that very first drive, the Cowboys offensively, they were actually moving the football, Bryan.
They were
moving the football, and I was like, oh, look at this. They don't want us to have Abdul Carter and Ashton Genty, Bryan. That's the first thing I said. And then they, kind of had an incompletion here, the Brandon Arbery block or whatever. I feel like Luvu on the other side.
Yeah, Frankie Luvu's a good player.
He was tearing it up over there, man. He
had three tip balls in the first half of the game.
He made a ton of plays over there, Bryan Broaddus. And I know we've gotten to the end of the game, and it's very hindsight. And I'm getting a bunch of comments from weird people, bots, and AI talking about, I told y'all Cooper Rush can do this. Man, if it wasn't for that last spurt at the end, man, there's only 10 points on the board from offense. But if I can really give a lot of respect to a unit, it's your defense, man. I thought this offense was – I thought that the Washington offense was going to come in here and run all over the place.
I did too.
But,
I did too.
But Micah Parsons played with high effort. I don't think they targeted Deron Bland at all, which made them target – Josh Butler. Had a fantastic day. Overshown's looking elite, but I ain't gonna say it because it's way too soon. I saw Osa making plays. I saw Chauncey making plays. So I was very encouraged. Donovan didn't look lost per se. So I was very encouraged with how this defense played. And a common theme, no matter how upset I get about Mike McCarthy and his offense, Mike Zimmer and whatever resources you give him, he find a way to get a little better every week, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I do the same. I think there were some times in this 5-game losing streak that the defense got hung out to dry a little bit, and if you've got some of the play, I thought Cooper Rush played really well today. I thought he was well within himself. I don't think he tried to do too much. The guy, they did a really good job of the receivers. There was some separation on the outside. We kind of talked about it leading into this game that, there were some opportunities against this secondary to be able to throw the football. The running game aspect of it, Rico Dowdle with those 5 guys up front, you go into the game and we'd already done our shows, and if you would have told us, well, hey, by the way, Zach Martin and Tyler Smith are not going to play this week, you're thinking that is the death knell for disaster for the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. And those guys did a really nice job of creating some opportunities to run the football with Rico Dowdle. I thought he played extremely tough. You look at what we talked about in our breakdown that here are the Commanders. They give up touchdowns to tight ends down that was their 6th one. Yeah. We pointed that out. Wide open. And wide open. What they do? They busted a coverage on the back end, and that's kind of how they. That's how they give up touchdowns right there. So it looked very Dan Quinn-like against the Green Bay Packers, in the playoff game. Guys running wide open that way. But, hats off really to the defense, as you mentioned. But I do want to give some credit to Dowdle, and I want to give some credit to that offensive line as well for the way that they played.
I will say this, though, Bryan. Whenever Rico was, featured, and he gets over 15 or so carries, right?
Yeah.
It's typically a better day for your offense. A better day.
Much better. Yeah, much better.
Now, Bryan, we're going to have a long offseason. We talking about draft and all this kind of stuff. I would love for Rico to be like a bridge running back for whoever the
That's
young
what
guy
you're
is.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking. That's what you're thinking right there. Clearly we're going to get into, I know in our Friday conversations, and then once the season ends, we're going to get into, talking about, there'll be a lot of running backs that'll be mentioned in this, in our featured in our shows. I just from talking to some people throughout, scouts and stuff, feel like this is a pretty deep draft with the running backs. So yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Man, maybe it's not going to be Genty, but maybe it's somebody else. Dallas folks, I believe this with my heart. There's still games that they're probably going to struggle in. They're probably not going to win. There's plenty of games. And, this is one game where you can actually feel good about being a Dallas Cowboy fan against the division rival, a hated division rival. These people like to, they were thinking, hey, they've been on the short end of a lot of these. And they probably felt like the Commander fans probably felt like this was going to be their revenge today. And it wasn't. But, don't worry about the draft position, because I know some people out there. I mean, we've kind of talked about this, and, you're going to pick wherever you're going to pick. And people are like, well, you're killing yourself on the position. And I'm like, listen, I watched Trey Lance go 2nd. I watched Mitch Trubisky go 3rd. I've watched the Jets take edge rushers from Ohio State. I've seen them all. I've seen all these, does it guarantee a better opportunity for a really, really, really good player? Sure. Opportunity. Is there the, is 1 or 2 games going to affect you? No, it didn't. Some teams it affects, some teams it doesn't. And so as a Cowboy fan, I think that for one day you can kind of, after the last 5 weeks, you've been pretty beat up. That to me, that's a team that's battling for the division lead. They're battling for a playoff spot. Do they have some warts to their team? Sure. But you did a good job against one of the young and upcoming quarterbacks in this league. That kid's got some special traits to him. He really, really does. So, hey, it could affect you. Sure. You go from 8th to 11th. You'll find a way to lose, maybe not to the Giants this week, but you'll lose another one and it'll take you down. It'll take you back into 11. Then you'll lose another one and you'll be 8th, so just hang in there.
You talking about some hang in there. We watching these damn players, Brian. Two of these wins is the difference between Abdul Carter and like Shamar Stewart. Okay, so let's not get carried away with all this happy that we winning, Brian, bro. It does.
I'm just. You know what? I understand.
You get it.
I understand why, because I've sat in that chair when it was 5-11, and you would do anything just to get a victory.
Yeah.
I understand why we could all be pissed that they're winning football games, big picture and all that. I'm not saying, listen, hey, I know for one time in the last 5 weeks, I was dealing with doing as much like you doing post-game shows with a team that was losing every effing week.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's for once, hey, They tried to lose. Like I say, if that field goal kicker just makes a damn extra point, you're probably going to lose in overtime.
It feel like they tried to get a game win on that one last play.
We've said this. They are just play the games and you'll probably lose.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand the love for Carter and stuff because I share it. I want them to have the best draft position they can get, especially if the season's a loss. Mm-hmm. And the season is a loss, It is a loss. But, to them, it's not a loss right now. They're going to keep playing, They're going to keep playing and they're going to keep playing. And they're probably going to beat the Giants on Thursday, And they're probably going to, they'll try and win the next one and the next one. And then, and you're right. You'll be picking 13th, 14th maybe, but it's what it is.
Man, Brian, I was saying this on my last 2 shows. I just wanted your thoughts on it, man. I kind of was in my feelings a little bit with the idea that, this offense, I saw them try to do different things today. Like they upped the motion a little bit. They try to do different things scheme wise or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And it kind of ticked me a little bit that I was like,
they're like, where have they done this? Why didn't they do this before?
Basically, right? Like, if Mike McCarthy was like, all right, guys, we got Cooper Rush here. Let's do this to make things a little easier for him. Man, why not do that with 4 and make the whole thing better then? That's the one thing I kind of got ticked off about. And I just kind of wanted your reaction.
I don't disagree with you, man. Listen, when Mike McCarthy told me that he wasn't interested in giving Brian Schottenheimer the play calling duties, I didn't care anymore. I really didn't care anymore. I'm like, okay, fine. You want to sit there and you want to do what you want to do? Fine, great, go for it. Today, I said this on our halftime show. I thought that Mike McCarthy, I thought he had some good mix of what he was trying to do. I thought there weren't as many negative plays. There weren't plays that put you in long yardage situation. Yeah, they had a jet sweep and the stupid Trey Lance packages put you on some negative plays. But yeah, I mean, was there things that they did better today that they haven't done before? Absolutely. Absolutely. There were some things better today. And you kind of wonder like, okay, well, featuring CeeDee Lamb, handing the ball to Rico Dowdle. There were some things, getting some other guys involved. I mean, let's be honest. You could have lost that game because of special teams, but you also won that game because you scored, what was it? You scored 17 points off special team stuff today. Yeah. The offense still was the offense, still is what the offense, but they at least showed some different things. I think the fact that they tried to run the ball today was the best thing that I could have seen them do.
It's a couple of things I'm going to be looking for on the film tomorrow, Bryan Broaddus. Me and you will watch the film and talk about it tomorrow. I want to see how those young guards did. And I also want to see big picture scheme-wise, offense and defense, what those guys did differently. than the last few or so games. That's something I'm going to be hyper focused on.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I'm always interested in the offensive line play. I'm really interested to see how how Bland played as far as how he was moving around and stuff like that. I'm always interested to see. It looked like Mozzie Smith was a little bit more active today in some of this stuff. And you just, again, you're watching TV copies of the game, and then when you get a chance to watch the tape, you're like, oh, a guy played a little bit better, played a little worse, whatever. But yeah, there's some things. There's some things that you're thinking like, okay, what did they do? What did they do to give Cooper Rush more time to throw the ball? And what did they do in routes to maybe get some guys open, with a little bit more, some different formational looks, I think some bunch stuff and all that, but they did a good job. I mean, like I say, that line to me, the way that the front seven played for the Cowboys on defense and the way the offensive line played, I think those were really the two big positive takes I took out of this game watching it.
Yeah, Brian, we're gonna look at those things and break those things down, man. I really want to know was it more of us or was it more of them? I
think them. I think them. Yeah. I think them them on defense. I think they got some really good players, but let's be honest. You did not get hurt really by their pass rush.
Sure,
you didn't get hurt by their pass rush today.
That was surprising.
It really surprised me. Their blitz stuff got to you a couple of times, but that's why they went out and got Lattimore.
Yeah.
They know they can't cover. They can't cover on the back end. And it's hard to take them seriously as a playoff contender or serious playoff contender that you can with the offense, with Robinson and McLaurin. And that quarterback, you could take them seriously doing that.
Yeah.
You can't take them seriously defensively.
Yeah.
You can't take them seriously defense because they really don't stop the run. They have to be, and we were visiting with their play-by-play man before the game started, and he kept saying get right game. A get right game. That wasn't a get right game. Dallas ran the ball pretty effectively against them. It wasn't 180 yards. But for Dallas, who doesn't run the ball well at all, that has to be a huge concern for the Commanders going forward. That the fact that Dallas, who's not a great running team, actually ran the ball and 3.3 yards is not a great average. But the fact that you had a back that had 86 yards against him and ran the ball tough and converted some things, I would be concerned if I were the Commanders.
Cowboys running for 86 yards is like running for 150 yards. Like that's us over.
Like dog years. It's like dog years. Yeah, just multiply that times 7 and you kind of get an idea. But yeah, I think Mike McCarthy, I think there's some things that today he tried to strive and have a little bit about more balance to his offense, and I think he accomplished that. I really do.
Man, Brian, we're going to watch this film, man, and we're going to come back to the people and give a glowing report on all the things that the Cowboys did good. And
now you're going to be sad because –
begrudgingly, I will.
No, you'll be sad because, a loss would have meant, continued draft position, and I get that. Trust me, guys and gals, I want them to have the best draft position possible. Yeah. But when they do go out and win a game, I didn't expect them to win this game. Shit, you and I were talking about it. What we thought. And especially when Chiafalo and Eric Chiafalo and I were doing the pregame show, and we found out that both guards were out. Eric picked like 36-6. Yeah. Pick some game like that. You're not thinking they're going to do any good with all those backups in there playing. Mm-hmm. And so, hey, you tried. Hey. Washington gave it to you. You tried to give it right back. Washington just didn't want to take it today.
Well, Dexter Lawrence is coming, so I hope them guards brought their lunch pail, man. Mm-hmm. Hey, chat, I appreciate everybody for everything that y'all do. Y'all will go and watch Bryan Broaddus all day and come and watch on DLLS and my other post game show. Then you come here and watch us all together, man. Y'all just watch all the content that we put out instead of some of the letter networks. We appreciate y'all. That means the world to us. All right, we're gonna watch this film and really break it down. We're gonna come back and give y'all a good report tomorrow. All right, same time as normal. Me and Bryan will do his thing tomorrow. Y'all follow me on all my socials: VOCHLONBARDI. But BRY Broaddus is gonna let us know everything that's going on the social medias there, and I'll be tweeting about draft as well. All right, we appreciate y'all. Lay y'all the peace. Go get some rest and watch the game. Y'all hold it down till next time. Crown.